let's talk about it. Top 5 things not to leave your children. What would you not want to leave kids? I mean, okay, it's biblical, right? Proverbs 13:22 talks about, a good person, a good man, woman, leaves an inheritance for their children. So that's kind of important, right? You want to plan appropriately to minimize the tax invasion called probate. Um, but why would you not want to leave something? What wouldn't you want to leave? Could you imagine not leaving everything to your kids?
I mean, yeah, in most cases, I would think we leave everything to our kids. Ex- I wonder sometimes how it will be divided. but
I've got that all solved. So it's cage match, MMA style. It's the free. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But no, there are some things that you want to definitely give some good thought to, if not just exclude altogether. And so we're going to kind of go through those and talk about the pros and cons, the whys behind it, right? And number one is timeshares. Okay, you don't want to leave those to your kid, and I would not children, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting a child on the deed at whatever age. And the reason behind it, there's a lot of people love timeshares or you hate them. There's nobody really in the middle, I don't think. It's one of those things that why wouldn't you want to leave time? It's like vacation, Well, timeshares, if you don't travel, they're not really a benefit, and they come with a monthly fee or an annual fee, through maintenance costs and things like that are always on the increase. And if your children are in a situation where number one, they can't afford it,
yeah.
or number two, they don't really travel, and then maybe they like to travel in a different way. Maybe they're, kind of gypsies and love the just kind of spontaneous go, and we're going to do tents or whatever. Whatever the case may be, it kind of locks them into something,
Yeah.
and they're stuck with it for like life, and it's going to be hard for them to get out. Now they can volunteer not to accept it or whatever the case may be, but if you put them on the deed, then that's kind of it's a done deal, right? I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Wendy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way to get out of a timeshare is die, right? So
Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of companies out there you hear advertising, especially when you go down to like Florida, around Disney World and stuff. Like wherever there's a heavy prevalence of timeshare, there's always companies advertising, get out of your timeshare now or whatever. Me personally, I like the idea, the concept of timeshare, the right one. Like anything, was it disclosed? Do you have your eyes wide open walking into it? And are you using it? Because that's one of the things that you want to make sure you're definitely using. But that's the thing, don't leave your kids a timeshare unless you fully had that discussion with them. Because, aside from what the timeshare sales rep may or may not have told you, oh, it's real estate or whatever. Yeah, me personally, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a timeshare rep. I don't see it as you're more of buying a vacation discount, if you will. And you're able to use it whenever, but it's one of those things that you definitely don't want to lose because of the fact that it's a continual monthly fee, and they are hard to get out, like you mentioned, right? So the second thing kind of I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, don't put that on them unless they fully know what they're getting into. Yeah.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that evil on me, right? No, I mean, for you timeshare owners, I'm not trying to trigger you or anything like that. So it's one of those things. Just be aware of that. And the timeshare people may actually try to convince you, oh yeah, go ahead and put your kids on the deed. The reason is they want to lock that in, right? But definitely have a conversation with your adult children, like adult, not 18. And let them make that decision for themselves. Number two kind of ties to that, and this is vacation properties, like a lake house or something like that. It's like, well, why the heck would you want to leave a lake house? We had great memories there with, the husband and wife and the 5 kids or whatever the case may be. But that can create some problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of off on this one because it's like if there were the memories and all that. But yeah, if you have multiple people you leave it to, how do they share, right? Like that causes lots of. I mean, I've seen in my extended family, so somebody passed away and there were 2 kids, and I thought everyone got along great and this would be an easy deal. And it literally divided the family from that point forward. So
Well,
each other, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it can be a great deal, right? But the thing is, yeah, they got along when mom and dad were around to tell them to chill out if they were getting out of line, or they had to check with mom and dad to see, hey, can I have the house this week or weekend or whatever? They had to check with mom and dad to say, hey, can I bring a bunch of work, friends over and have a work deal for a week? But when it passes to the kids, now if you have one child, okay, that's a different story, right? Because there's really nobody to make the decisions other than that one person. But when you have multiple children, who says who gets what, right? Or maybe one person, hey, they're going through a tough time and they don't want the house, they want to sell it so they can get the money to do whatever else they need to do. So that's where it really becomes a challenge. And, I know some people out there, well, we get along great. That's fine. I'm talking, and these are general statements, but looking at the problems that it can cause. And I'm going to tell you right now, money can make people crazy.
Yep.
When it comes to inheritance and stuff like that. I mean, like you said, people that, oh man, I can't believe they went off the. We had a situation I'll talk about here in a minute in our family when my grandparents passed away over stupid stuff.